Hey guys, welcome back to Undefeated at Locals. This time with a face to go with it. We're going to bring back for you guys in this episode of Making It Meta. Bringing back Making It Meta. What is this, episode 2 now? Our second character?
Yeah, this is our second character. We did 2 episodes of All Might?
Yeah, 2 episodes of All Might. That format was pretty okay. It worked out pretty alright. You guys seem to like it. We're going to change up the way we do the videos a little bit, just so we can be more consistent for you guys. Bring out more characters weekly rather than a character every 3 months.
Not to mention we have a regular ban list now. There's not a set on the horizon. There were too many things that prevented us from being able to continue making it meta right away.
Yeah, set 5 was going to be big for everybody. The one with Nature Ban was big for a lot of characters, including the last character, All Might. But yeah, so today we have a community request. We asked in our Discord for anybody to send us requests. One of our Discord members sent us Katsuki Bakugo 1. Bakugo 1, if for you kids out there that don't know, he has a response after your blocked Fury attack resolves. Discard it from your card pool. And then his enhance is destroy 1 foundation. Your attack gets +2 damage.
Very aggressive. Yeah,
this character is probably one of the most aggressive characters in the format, guys. He is blowing up his entire staging area to try to kill you. So yeah, with making it meta going forward, as you guys will see with Bakugo 1, we're just kind of going to go over a deck profile for you guys. Edgar and I here have kind of put together a list over the last week, including the new set 5 cards, of what we think brings Bakugo to the next level, how you guys might be able to top a major event with him, including this unfun stuff, RLE, coming up this next weekend. So yeah, with the character set aside here, let's get into the video. First, we'll bring you guys the attacks. The very first attack is one with Bakugo's face on it. We have 4 copies of Stun Grenade. Stun Grenade was honestly the card for me that really brought this character into the limelight. Before he had something like this, he was still an aggressive character, but he didn't really have the oomph. He didn't have the card draw. This, more often than not, says he's going to draw one of his Fury attacks. It is 4 diff, 4 mid for 4, 2 high block, Fury, powerful 2, stun 1. It is enhanced. This attack gets +1 to its stun rating for each attack that has left your card pool this turn. Obviously, with Bakugo's response on if you block it, I'm going to discard my card. This can become stun 3, stun 4 very easily early in the game. And then his next enhance, the most important one for me, is enhance, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck and add 1 Fury attack revealed this way to your hand. Discard the remaining cards. This is obviously very good. This can pull you any of our Fury attacks. All of our attacks are obviously Fury. That's the one keyword that we need for him. It can pull you any attack out of the deck. It can even pull a second copy of Stun Grenade, so you can pretty easily loop 2, 3 of these at a time. Card is absolutely really what sets this character apart nowadays.
Yeah, before this attack, he had a problem hitting the 7 attacks that he needed.
Yeah, exactly. He's a 6-hander that really needs to play like 7 attacks on your opponent to really be impactful. So yeah, we have Stun Grenade there. Very important part of his kit. The next attack, another thing that he garnered in the next set, League of Villains. We have 4 copies of Vile Seizing. Vile Seizing kind of brought the same thing for him. It's a 4 diff, 3 high for 4, so it gave him an off-zone attack, 1 high block, Breaker 1, Fury, of course, and it says, enhance, your rival makes a check against a difficulty of 7. If they fail, draw 1 card, and this attack gets +2 damage. More often than not, that's just going to be you draw a card, and this is now a 3 high for 8 in our character.
Yep.
With draw 1 on face, which is the entire reason we're running it. It also has a very relevant deadlock enhance, which sometimes Bakugo can need. That's like the biggest way to try to beat the character. That's the biggest way your opponents are going to try to beat you guys, is by just building out a wall of foundations. Its deadlock enhance says your rival's checks get -2 for the rest of the turn. One of the most just punishing deadlock enhancements in the game right now.
Yeah. Again, just more draw, right?
Yeah.
That's a part of what was missing early on. Was
absolutely.
this amount of draw.
Just draw power. You'll notice a pattern. Most of these attacks are 4 diffs. We both believe that is really what this character needs. You're going to want to string out as many attacks as possible on turn 2, turn 3. Those are going to be your real alpha turns for the character. Anything past that, the character will struggle to get through.
Yeah. As is very thematic for the character.
Yes, absolutely. We have a brand new card from Undaunted Raid, thankfully a common, so you guys out there can get this one pretty easily. We have Hardened Fist. I didn't actually really look at this card. It took Edgar and one of our other team members to really talk to me about this card before I realized how good it is in this character. This is a 4-diff, 1 low block, which is very relevant. It finally gives us a low block attack. 3 mid for 5. It is Fury Punch Combo Fury. Its combo enhances your rival destroys one face-up foundation. Your rival may build the top card of their deck committed. So this is basically like a really amped up stun 1.
Yeah.
It is a really messed up stun 1. So very, very relevant early on. Takes out one of their 4 or 5 key pieces. Its next enhance is the real reason that we're running it. It says enhance the next time you destroy a foundation during this attack, build the top card of your deck. So this card is super free in Bakugo.
Yep.
This is a 3 mid for 7 that you wasted 0 resources on.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, you probably gained a resource.
Yes.
Commit one foundation.
Commit a foundation, blow up that committed foundation, rebuild it readied.
Yeah.
It is crazy. It is crazy. So yeah, very, very cool tech piece that got added for this character from Undaunted Raid. Next up, we have one of my favorite attacks from his starter kit. His starter kit alone is pretty wild, guys. For you guys out there playing the game casually, you can easily pick up this rival deck and still just ruin somebody's day with it. We have Howitzer Impact. This top number up here is a 6. That's irrelevant. I'll explain why with its static ability. It's a 1 high, 4 low for 6. So again, an off-zone attack. Very good for this type of character. Its static is if you have destroyed a foundation this turn, this attack gets -2 difficulty. So this attack is always going to be a 4 difficulty move. You're never going to play this first. You're never going to play it before you've destroyed a foundation. We have destroy on our face, so it's not even a hard thing to achieve. And then it has enhanced destroy 1 foundation. This attack gets +2 speed. So it's the opposite of Bakugo's enhancement on face. So this attack can easily be a 6 low for 8. On a 4 diff, that is just endless value.
Yeah.
Next up, another card with our face on it. We have the other Howitzer Impact. Howitzer Impact Cyclone. This went in tandem with the stun grenade package that we got. This card, again, added draw to the character. This character just needed a way to draw cards, draw his Furies, amp up his turn 2s, turn 3s. This is an actual 5 diff, one of the only ones that we're running. 2 low block, 3 high for 6. It is Fury, powerful 3, which is actually comes up more often than you'd think. Combo Fury. Combo enhance, add the top card of your deck to your momentum. So you just get to snap a momentum for free always. And then it says enhance, destroy 1 foundation, draw 1 card for each of your momentum. So we're snapping a momentum and then immediately using it to draw, immediately using this to powerful. This is like a 3 high for 11, 3 high for 13, 14. Very, very big move. Very punishing for your rival, especially early on. Even more punishing later if this says you're going to draw 5 cards.
Yeah. And if you have to go into a second attack turn, you're going to have 1 momentum, maybe 2 tucked away.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Crazy. Yep. So you're going to get endless draw off of this. Again, it's an off-zone attack, which is something that he needed. His initial kit was like very mid. So really up to the game for him. Again, just drawing cards is so important in this format.
Yeah.
Our last attack, we're running 17 of them out of 50 cards. Our last attack is his SR from set 1, Nitro Explosion Ignition. This card is really included, mostly for Howitzer Impact Cyclone to really amp up that ability. It is a 4 diff, 1 mid block, 5 high for 4 that has a card pull response. After a Fury attack leaves your card pull during the combat phase, add the top card of your deck to your momentum.
Yeah.
Again, with our character's response, that's going to happen on most of our attacks. We punish our rival for even thinking about face tanking our moves. So we're just going to be snapping momentum repeatedly. This is going to be the only card that you ever leave in your card pool. And then it's great. It has an enhanced card pool remove. Your attack game's powerful too. So once we've had enough with momentum, once we want to clear our card pool once and for all, we just get to remove it on face. Very, very powerful card. The set 1 SRs were nuts, and yeah, this does a lot for a character that always discards from his card pool.
Very much, yes. That'll probably be the hardest card to get.
Yeah, it's definitely the most expensive. This is not a budget build, guys. This is a meta build, and those can tend to be a little bit more expensive. Moving away from our attacks, we have one non-foundation card. We are running one copy of Grenadier Bracers. I am generally somebody that hates on green cards a lot. It's very hard for me to want to run them in decks. This character is one of the few. I've taken down a provisional store championship with this character, and it was off the back of Grenadier Bracers, honestly. It is a 1-diff, 2 mid-block asset, unique, and it says enhance. If you have destroyed a foundation this enhanced step, this attack gets +1 damage. So we all know what that means. If this is on our field, our character's enhance actually says +3 damage, not +2, which can sound very small, but when you're thinking of it in the span of 5 attacks, that's huge. Yeah. Insane. +5 damage. And then it says enhance commit. This attack gets +1 damage for each foundation you have destroyed this turn. So on your alpha turn, on the turn that you're going to try to go in on your opponent for game, you're going to just select a dice and start counting up how many foundations you've destroyed. Your opponent knows that that number is going to be, when you commit this foundation, I'm going to give my move +5, +6, whatever that number is. It's huge. It's not, we don't have to see it. That's the great thing about this card and why we're running it as a one-of. It is a unique, so it would feel very bad to pull more than 2 of this card or more than 1 of this card. So we're running it as a one-of. We don't have to see it, but when we do, our turns are a lot more spicy. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And it has our face on it.
Yeah, always love when the cards have your face on them.
Moving into our foundations. One of only 2 4-ofs that we're running. Again, a Bakugo set card is Let's Fight Bad Guys. This is a 1-diff, 2 mid-block, and simply it says enhance flip, your fury attack gets +2 speed. +2 speed is obviously huge in a deck that's giving damage. That's how these wall decks are going to try to fight you off, is a lot of our attacks are not very high speed starting. Some of them are, but some of them are 3. It's very easy for things like Momo to block 5 of those moves in a row. It's a little bit harder when we get to flip and say this is a 7 high for 6 now.
Yeah. And like if you run into your Nitro Explosion Ignition off the rip,
yeah,
make that card as unblockable as possible.
Yep.
So they have to take it. It feels really bad to block a
7 high for 5. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, very good card, very necessary. Speed is king in this deck. We really need to find a way to give it to our attacks. Next up is the opposite of speed. We're minusing speed. Arrogant Disposition. It's another set 1 Clash deck card. 1-diff, 2 low block. It checks a 6. One of the main reasons we're running it is get those 6 checks in the deck. We're an aggro character, so we want to check them early. And then it has a very relevant enhance. In the current meta, it says enhance commit. This punch attack gets -3 speed. There are so many punch characters running amok. We have Mirio out of set 5 that's just going to be tearing up the field. All Might 3 is still a huge presence in our game. Even Eraserhead, Void Eraserhead, guys, you're going to get smacked with Punch Eraser. This says we might survive All Might 3's alpha turn and be able to backswing them for game. So yeah, even if we have to build it, it still has a very relevant text. Yep. Moving into our 3-ofs, we are running 3 latent skill. Most of these foundations are going to be from his starter. His starter was very good for him, very themed. Jessica did a great job with it. This is a 2-diff, 2 high block, and it says enhance flip, discard 2 cards, draw 2 cards. Very, very good in an aggro deck. It says if we only drew 2 attacks on our turn 2, maybe we can find a way to have drawn 4. This card you do want to be careful with. We'll go deeper into like some of the plays at the end of the video. But this card, its cost is to discard 2 cards. So if your opponent has a way in hand or on field to cancel that, you want to be very wary of what cards they're able to run. You always want to look at their board state before you decide to rip this enhance off the top. We don't always know what they have in hand, so that one just try your hardest to not just walk into, because this card becomes very bad when it says enhance flip discard 2 cards. Yeah. Next up, we have encouragement. Encouragement is super important for the build. What we were talking about earlier, it's hard for characters to face tank us. It's not impossible. Characters like Nomu out there exist. So this is a 2-diff, 2 mid block. It says response flip. After your unblocked attack resolves, discard it from the card pool. This stops those decks. Nomu, Cementos, Muscular is not very relevant, but could still find them out there. Any of these bigger decks, Recovery Girl, that are trying to potentially not block one of your moves, I can take this to the face. This allows us to still use our character's response, discard it from the card pool. It is very important that this character can string out against those decks in particular. Nomu is going to bring all of our moves back down to 6, so that is a very potentially hard matchup for him to overcome. We have to ship several moves at him, and he's pretty much going to be face tanking all of them. So
yeah. There's a lot of... Even Mirio is going to face tank
some of them, yes. Damage, right? Yeah, absolutely, yeah. There's characters that get to 0 it. There's characters that get to bring it to 1.
Yeah.
Tetsu just topped an event in Pasadena recently. So yeah, all of these characters with this 30-plus health, their health is a real resource for them. So you need to watch out for those ones, which is why we run this as a 3 of. Next up, we have one of my favorite cards. This is kind of the spice of the deck. You don't see it run too often. Burst Speed. This is a 2-diff, 2 mid-block. Bakugo response, that's important. Figured that out later. After this card enters your discard pile during your attack's enhanced step, your rival loses 2 health. This effect cannot reduce your rival below 1 health. So this is just super cool, whether we build it, whether we rip it off the top with Stun Grenade. Either way, this card is +2 damage, usually if we blow it up and they burn for 2, or we reveal it with Stun Grenade and they burn for 2. Nicking our rival every now and again with 2 damage, if they're trying to block everything, feels really good. At least you didn't end your turn having done nothing to them. Helps us to progress the game state a little bit. Yeah, so yeah, there's nothing bad about this card. Burn for 2 is very relevant. Next up, we have the ever-present Tightlit. This card is a 0-diff, 1 mid-block. It says enhance, flip 1 foundation. Your attack gets +1 damage. Might be a little bit greedy in this deck when our character gives damage on face. This card is very good though. We can flip a committed foundation for +1 damage, blow up that same foundation for +2 damage. Really amps up the damage. We're mostly running it because it's a 0-diff. Again, we'll go into his plays a little bit late at the end of the video, but you really want to build out with this character in your turn 1. You really want to open with 4 or 5 foundations that you can easily build, which is why we're running several 0-diffs here. Next up, from League of Villains, we have In Control. In Control is just another slightly higher costed version of Let's Fight Bad Guys for us. It's a 2-diff, 2 low block. Checks a 4. We have to watch out for this. This is the only reason that maybe you want to change it in your build. It says Enhance Flip. This attack gets +2 or -2 speed. Again, speed is king in the deck. The -2 speed might be relevant to keep you alive. The +2 speed is definitely going to be relevant to make sure your opponent does not stay alive. It has a somewhat relevant response, flip. After your rival makes a check to play or block with a throw attack, that check gets -2. Failing that check will not end the combat phase. But mostly we're playing it for the enhance. It's a 2 low block in our deck, which is not nothing. But yeah, speed is king. We want to be able to really whack them with an 11 high for 11. Next up, out of Undaunted Raid, one of the new cards, we have Red Riots, the Coolest. This card is nuts, guys. It's a 1-diff, 3 low block. It says Enhance Flip. This attack gets +2 damage, playable while committed. It has the 3 best words in the game, guys. Playable while committed. So we get to commit this to pass our check. We get to flip it for +2 damage, and then blow it up for another +2 damage. Easiest 4 damage you'll ever get out of the character. It's a super great addition to his deck. It's a 1 diff, so we get to run a ton of spams that just give our deck endless value. It has a Deadlock Enhance. Your attack with Hardened or Red in its name get +1 speed and +1 damage. That's less relevant in our deck, but you guys can make it more relevant if you simply added more of the 4 diff that we showed you earlier. You can run, Red Blitz out of the Plus Ultra kit. That card is very nuts in this character. So yeah, you can run a couple more things to make that Deadlock Enhance more relevant. We don't super care about Deadlock in this character. If you're in Deadlock, I feel you've reached a point of the game that it's very hard for you to win in. This character is definitely not trying to win in Deadlock. He's trying to win in turn 2, turn 3.
Yep. Deadlock is your biggest enemy.
Yes, yeah, Deadlock will hurt you more than it hurts your rival. That's for sure. Next up, we have Forcing Surrender. It's a 1 diff, 2 low block. This card is really just existing for those characters that are trying to ruin your combos, ruin your string. Any character that's trying to shove a card into your card pool, Runaway exists in the format right now. If you guys are watching this video, it's making it meta, so I'm sure you know what Runaway is. They're going to try to take your attack's base damage and slide a card that you didn't expect into your card pool. Forcing Surrender says Enhance Flip, discard 1 non-attack card from either player's card pool. Very important for a deck that's trying to interrupt us. It's a 1 diff, so we're just running it as a little spam, but it does come up quite frequently. Moneta 2s are still running amok out there sometimes, and there's just a lot of cards in general that are flooding your card pool on their defense turns. So this goes to mitigate that a little bit. Next up, we have 2 copies of Excited for Blood. This card is very good. Most decks will run this card as a 4 of. Me and Edgar just didn't really think that this deck needed it. This is more, again, like a little spice in the deck. It's a 3 diff, 2 high block. It says Response Flip. After your rival loses health, gain 4 health. And then its second response is once per turn, lose 2 health. After your rival loses health, draw 1 card. So again, more card draw. The first response pays back the second responses, lose 2 health, which is pretty nice in this deck. And again, we're just trying to draw a million cards on turn 2 and turn 3. So if we find it in our opening rip, it's pretty good, which is why we're running it as a 2 of. It is a high cost. It's a 3 difficulty foundation, so you don't really want to run a ton of those, especially in a deck where you're trying to build 4 or 5 foundations on turn 1.
Yep.
But yeah, still very good. It's always good to be able to gain health. It's always good to be able to draw cards in this format. The last foundation is our last 0 diff, Surviving the Final. 0 diff, 3 high block. This says Enhance once per turn. This attack gets -1 speed. It's really the only defense that we have in the deck. And funny enough, I didn't even include it specifically for its defensive enhance. We included it because it's a 0 diff. Again, we want to build a million foundations as this guy. But sometimes it will keep us alive. So sometimes we do survive the final, guys. So yeah, -1 speed across every turn is not nothing. That can be very relevant still in the format. And yeah, that's the deck for you guys. Now we'll go over some of the plays, what you really want to be doing. As we said throughout the video, we really want to be building 4, 5 foundations as this guy very consistently, which is why we've built the deck the way we have. Bakugo really wants to... Your alpha turn's going to be turn 2. You want to hit your rival before they've built anything, guys. Yep. They've only found 4 or 5 pieces in general. Maybe it wasn't the pieces that they're looking for, especially Momo. We really want to hit her when she doesn't just get to perfectly hold the right block zones against you. Mm-hmm. Want to hit her before she's been able to sculpt her hand that way. Very, very important with those decks out there. Recovery Girl.
Recovery Girl has 12
yeah.
foundations in her discard.
Yep, yeah. Be able to build anything. Recovery Girls are trying to build cards that flood your card pool. We don't want that. We don't want to give them the opportunity to do that. don't let them face shield you, basically. Don't let them find face shield. Don't let them find their wall clings.
Yep.
Don't let them do anything. Hit them on turn 2, turn 3, when they're at they're most vulnerable. Turn 4 and 5 are really where this character starts to struggle. Meta variants, like, there's some decks where you've reached a point where you just may scoop game 1, go to game 2 to try to get the game off of them. But yeah, so we'll show you kind of, guys, an opening rip here. We're a 6-hand size character. So yeah, this is a pretty good hand for us, honestly. Opening rip, we have our 4 foundations. This is a guaranteed build 4 for us since we're running safe 3s. So this is a very good hand. We have guaranteed 4. We have 2 attacks, which in this character we're just going to keep those. So yeah, this is kind of what you're looking for. If it was any less than this, I'd probably mulligan the whole hand. Again, we're really trying to build at least 4. You guys don't get to see these checks. It doesn't matter. It's safe 3s. We get to draw 4. So this is where it gets interesting, guys. This hand I probably don't play out here, honestly. You ripped 4 more foundations, so this is kind of where you can just build and pass again. Try to kill them on turn 3 with 8 foundations. 8 foundations is a lot easier to kill them with 4. We get to sculpt our hand. We have 28 health. That's a real resource in our deck. And then we get to actually start drawing our moves here, guys. So this is really a hand, 8 foundations. This is a hand that you can kill somebody with. You go Vile Seizing, rip the top 3 off of your deck.
Stun Grenade.
Not Stun Grenade. Yeah, Stun Grenade, not Vile Seizing. Rip the top 3, Vile Seizing. You have all of these moves. This is a very good chance at just killing your rival dead. Mm-hmm. Very, very good setup. So yeah, that's kind of what you guys are looking for. Those are the lines that you want to take. It's very hard as this character to want to really poke out against your rival unless you have something like Vile Seizing in your hand. Mm-hmm. If you have something like Stun Grenade that you think will draw you a second attack.
Stun Grenade, you're hoping for Vile Seizing.
Yep.
If you have a latent skill on the field, that's
that may not be a poke turn anymore. You may be like, now I have 3 moves in hand. So yeah, that's really what you guys are looking for. This is what we believe will make this deck meta. This deck has honestly only grown every single set. Every set, Bakugo has gotten something new, something crazy. Vile Seizing, Stun Grenade, Howitzer Impact Cyclone, the new 4-diff, even Red Riots, the coolest, is honestly a pretty nut spam foundation for him. So yeah, he's only growing. He's going to grow even further. He's one of the 2 main characters of the sets of the anime, so he is always going to just get more and more character cards, more and more attacks. The character's already done well in the meta, honestly. He's topped a couple different events. I've topped an event with him.
This has been Marvin's pet deck
since set 1. So. I always rebuild this guy every single set, guys. If you have any questions about him, please join the Discord. We're happy to talk to you about him more there. But yeah, this will be the new format for making it meta. A little bit more consistent for you guys. Just show you an actual deck profile, what we would run. And like I said, join our Discord. We're always playing games. We're always happy to answer questions, help you guys with your version. This is not the end-all, be-all for Bakugo. There's so many different avenues for this character. That's why I've changed him in every set. I was on fire in set 1. I was on an weird air build in set 2 because of Gran Torino's kit. And I've been on death pretty much ever since because of things like Stun Grenade existing. But yeah, so many different avenues. On air, you have Nejire's kit, which is very relevant right now. Was a contender for this video for sure. But yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed it. Any closing remarks, Edgar?
Just join our Discord. We're happy to run games with you. We're happy to check your decks out and see where you can improve them or where you might be struggling with them.
Yeah, and any more requests, guys, leave them in the YouTube comments. Join our Discord. We have a Making It Meta thread. Feel free to leave requests there. We already have next week's video slotted up. We're going to bring you guys Mirio, Lemillion himself, the big bad of the format. We're going to bring you guys what I believe will make that character meta. And yeah, go out, pick up the boy, play him. He's super fun.
Thanks. Bye.